Welcome to the Golden Feather. Grab a pint, a plate, and pick your seats. Your hosts, Vertek and Chibi are back from their latest adventure.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Golden Feather. Today is June 4th now. I can't believe it's June already, goodness. This is episode 82, A Roaring Good Time featuring Roar, also known as OMFGRoar. Hello.
Hi guys. Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm well. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Oh, we're happy to have you. And, of course, my other co-host, Mr.
Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's having a happy day.
Indeed. Hello. Okay, so, real quick, just to jump into some podcast updates. We are moving this week, but don't worry. We will have all of our videos going live on time. We're going to pre-plan them to just schedule out when we're busy doing the big move and stuff, but we will be probably in this space next Friday, and then the following week we'll be in the new place. So yeah, aside from that, we were on a few people's podcasts this last week. We were on Kira Cosmo's podcast, and I believe what was the other one? Studio Loot. Not Loot Studio. I always go the opposite way with their name.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's easy to come up with their names, but trying to remember the podcast name, sometimes I stumble too.
Yeah.
Studio Loot, the Ashes to Go.
Ashes to Go. They that's live now. We just tweeted that out earlier, so if you guys want to check that out later. But enough about us. We are here to talk about Roar. Hello, Roar.
Hi.
And
So, tell us a bit about you and what brought you to Ashes and what's keeping you here.
About me, huh? My name's Roar. I've been MMORPG gaming for the better part of 22 years. I started way back when on the one that really sucked me in was EverQuest. That's what got me going, and I've just I've been going through the paces ever since, jumping from game to game to game to game. I've played way too many. And I'm gonna be honest with Ashes, I saw the early announcements, the Kickstarters back in 2016, 2017, and I was skeptical like everybody else. I didn't believe it. We've been told these promises so many times before. So kind of kept it on my radar, kept it in the back of my mind, and just watched. And then as it started to gain popularity, and I kind of liked that Steven was an old gamer himself. He really knows how to speak. He's a really good salesman, I'll give him that. And in recent gameplay videos and stuff like that, we've seen what they're capable of doing. So that's kind of why I'm on board. Just because it's the next big thing, hopefully, and I want to be a part of it. And
fingers crossed.
That's why I'm here.
Speaking of being a part of it, are you a part of the Alpha 1?
I am, yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
How has your experience been so far?
It's a typical alpha. A lot of obviously the systems and mechanisms that they have told us are going to be in Ashes aren't necessarily ready and able to be played, at least not in the version of the build that we're playing. So it's a typical alpha. We're going in, we're stress testing things, we're making sure the servers work. Combat, honestly, as every single other reviewer has said, has been a little bit lackluster, but the overall feel, like the Unreal 4 engine is doing its work. It looks good. I don't really have any complaints other than the time constraint. That's really it.
Yeah. I feel like this pre-alpha 1 kind of area is just making sure that we have people prepared for Alpha 1.
Right.
we have testers to help us stabilize everything before everyone else sees it. So I'm pretty excited.
You know,
Hernandez, thank you so much. 10
And I
months
kind of knew that stuff. I kind of knew that stuff going in too. So like, I'm not one of those. I wasn't one of these guys that was expecting a full game. I wasn't expecting things to be working. I knew I've alpha tested tons of games. I knew exactly what I was getting into. So you know, I went in with a very open mind.
Okay. I see that you've been making your videos lately. Are you planning to continue being a content creator for Ashes? Did you apply for the content creator program?
I did apply for it just because, you know, I'm on that other podcast, The Burning Discussion. We do our podcast every week, and you know, we're very passionate about the game and wanting to see it succeed and MMORPGs in general. So we applied for it, and as far as my own personal content on my YouTube channel, like, I just like to talk, you know. It's a hobby for me, and I feel like I have my own interpretation of things, so I just try to make videos based on that. And you know, I'm reading the same wiki that everybody else is. I'm repeating the same information that they give us on the developer streams. So, you know, it's no insider information or anything like that. So, you know, I read about what they're doing, and I just try to put it in my own words and hopefully help people understand, you know, what they're doing.
Yeah,
So
that's all you can do. Give your own spin, give your own take, and see if your viewpoint might bring some other light on it in a different way. And hello, by the way, Theater Elf and Grumpy. Welcome, welcome. I love that laugh.
The open world. It's literally that, you know. Like I said, I came from EverQuest, you know, and EverQuest wasn't a pure sandbox just because of the time, probably. You know, back then they couldn't have this massive seamless open world. There were loading walls in between every single dungeon, but like, you know, the open world dungeons back then were open. Like, you had to go in, find your spot, and kind of claim it. And it really had a sense of adventure because, like, you had to work to get to the room that you wanted to farm, and, you know, other groups could potentially train a bunch of mobs onto you and wipe your group, and then it was just a giant, you know, just a giant crap show and stuff like that. So like, that to me was the pure nostalgia. It was fun, it was exciting, it was dangerous. And as soon as I found out that Ash's open world dungeons were going to kind of portray the same thing, I was like, all right, I can get on that.
So because I'm typing,
I like it. Yeah,
I've been muting myself a lot, so sorry, I accidentally didn't press the button all the way down.
She's trying to hide. She's trying to hide. She's a little vocal shy today. But yeah, that's part of what really brought me, like, the true scope and scale of everything that's going to be happening. And like, my spin on it is also the way the world is going to interact with what people are doing.
Yeah, the node system is very, very, very interesting. I hope they, like everybody else, I hope they can pull it off and make it work the way that they want it to work. And how players are directly influencing the world is just, it's massive. It's a big undertaking, but it's really exciting.
Yeah, like, how long have you been doing the alpha thing? Have you had a chance to experience any of the actual changes that a node leveling up brings about to the surrounding areas?
Not really too much. Like I said, I wasn't really sold yet when the original Alpha 1 pre-sales for the Kickstarter and stuff were going on, so I did not jump on board. I was waiting for the most recent buy-ins. So my first playtest was the one that they canceled, the first NDA that they canceled, and made it, you know, brought the NDA back on. That was the first one I was able to play. I spent probably a good 20-25 hours through the weekend, and if a node leveled up while I was wandering around, I have no idea. I couldn't tell a difference, so probably didn't experience anything.
Okay. So you're jumping in right around when they really started buckling down to test some of the hardcore nuts and bolts.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I know they've been doing their spot tests every week, and I can't be a part of them because I work. So I don't know why they chose Wednesdays.
Yeah, timing. Timing can be rough.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe they'll have some spot tests on other days here and there for you.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm really excited for the big one coming up. You know, I don't know, man. We'll see what's going on.
Aberrat wants
so
to
Aberrat
know
says, what do you do?
What do I do?
I suppose maybe in the line of
what do I
as
do,
content
Roar?
creator.
Yeah. As far as creating content go, I have a YouTube channel, OMFGRoar, and I just cover topics and a little bit of news on Ashes of Creation. And then we have our weekly podcast. My buddy Extermicide, he streams everything on YouTube and Twitch, and then we just talk about anything and everything MMORPGs every week. We usually pick a topic and we just try to talk about that topic, and we usually go off kilter a little bit, and then
What was it you said they called you over there?
they always represent me as the bad boy over there because my opinions are honest, and it usually starts a little bit of disagreements. More often than not.
Scuffle.
Yeah.
Honestly, we really go out of our way to get different perspectives, we don't want people that just agree with us. We want people that don't agree with us. We want people that kind of agree with us. We don't want just people that are like, oh, I love Ashes of Creation, everything to do with it. No, we want your honest opinion, as long as it's, respectful and stuff like that. We love that.
That's exactly the way I feel. Ashes gets a lot of hype all the time. They're always, oh, this is great, that's great, I love this, I love that. And I'm the guy that's like, come on, all these content creators and all these videos going out, like it's impossible that all these people can be in love with 100% of everything that Intrepid is doing. And I'm the guy that talks about the stuff that doesn't look so great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, there's got to be at least a couple out there to keep everybody else grounded,
Yeah, I agree. Going back to the topic of the Kickstarter, unless you had any other questions for him, for Tech.
No.
Okay. Going back to the discussion on the Kickstarter and kind of also bringing us into our community spotlight, there was a person on the forums. Let me see if I can pull up who it was. Yes, okay. By u/Mr. Waffles 143. He says 4 years ago today, this was posted yesterday, concluded the Ashes of Creation Kickstarter campaign. And the reason why this is kind of funny is because if you've been around the two of us, Vertec always says that we kind of met the day after Kickstarter ended, because I peeked my head into some videos on Ashes of Creation. It sounded really interesting, but I had finals to finish that year. So I was like, hold that thought. I have to focus on finals. I go focus on finals. I come back and the Kickstarter is done. But I'm going to read a little bit of what he said real quick, just because for nostalgia reasons. He says, 19,576 people believed enough in this project to meet every stretch goal Intrepid Studios set. Looking back at the videos from that day, you can see how raw they are, or were. Just a bunch of gamers building something fun. Now they have a huge team, an alpha, a new studio, quality videos, but they're still just a bunch of gamers building something new. He says, I was backer 14,409, and it's been a hell of a ride, to say the least. In that first year, most of everyone was on the forums way too much, and I will add, and Discord. We didn't make demands of Intrepid Studios, but simply hung out. We made jokes that we were a support group for all of the disappointing games we've played lately. Now there's a bunch of communities to talk in and hang out in. The MMO genre and its communities get the short end of the gaming stick, but
Yeah.
damn it if we aren't the closest bunch of little nerds in this gaming sphere. Thanks Intrepid Studios, and thanks r/Ashes of Creation. Kickstarter video for nostalgia reasons. And I really just loved that because Vertex like, yeah, I've backed since the Kickstarter, and I was like, I've backed since the day after the Kickstarter. Because literally 4 years ago, now today, is when I popped for the very first time into the Ashes of Creation Discord, official Discord, and I met that guy over there, Vertex. And this is how long we've known each other. So yeah, met over Ashes. Still get inspired over Ashes. I remember back when I first joined in, everybody would pop into the voice chat and just talk about like theorycraft for days about Ashes of Creation.
Oh.
Any little tidbit of information, oh my gosh, and then pop in a voice chat or pop on a Discord channel and just like talk about it for like hours. And you know, wonder where things were gonna go in the future.
Right.
Laura
That's pretty
says,
cool.
Yeah. Laura says it's been about a year ago today I first popped into the Ashes Discord and got banned in less than 24 hours. Laura, what did you do? Your relationship story is already better than Twilight. Well, thank you, St. Gabriel.
That's a really low bar, but I'll take it.
Yeah, gosh, I was the same.
Long strange trip. Back as soon as the summer backer. Yeah. As soon as they opened it up.
Yeah. I got caught in an automated ban wave aimed at reducing the bot population. I was reinstated when I protested. Nice. Hey, I'm
But
not
I
a
did
bot.
nothing wrong. Innocent bystanders will be banned.
Oof.
The bots are aggressive, man.
Yeah, right.
Oh, Tito, if I had to go back in my emails and dig up the very first email that says, "Hey, congratulations, you backed. Here's your backer number." But I was curious, so I started looking it up.
What backer
pretty
are
awesome.
you?
4,096.
Oh, wow, you backed early. Nice.
Oh yeah, like second week or something. But that
Nice.
means that there were already 4,000 people
Oh, yeah.
in the first 2 weeks.
Did you get
That
the
was interesting.
lifetime
They were
membership?
Waiting.
The lifetime
Oh
subscription?
yeah, that's the first thing I did. Yeah, I'll take that one. Yep. Definitely. That's actually what made me buy up so high.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have the money immediately for it, but I ultimately was able to go up to that because, again, I was like, I don't want to pay monthly for this. If this game goes as long as I think it will, and if it's as fun as I hope it's going to be, I'm probably going to be playing this until it dies.
So, probably a little bit off topic, and I don't mean to screw up your guys' schedule
not
or
at all.
anything, but what about you guys? You guys everybody probably already knows this. I do not. Why did you guys jump straight on board, giving some random Kickstarter that large sum of money? Like, what was the defining factor? What were you guys like fed up with that pushed you to that?
Before Vertec answers, I just want to preface what both of our answers are going to be by. This was both of our first Kickstarter that we backed.
So I've done a lot of stuff on Kickstarter, really big into board games. So I kickstart a lot of, well, not so much anymore because, computer games, but,
Yeah.
I've kickstarted a lot of board games. You give these guys some money and 3 years later you might get a product. So I'm very familiar with that, but
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of D&D stuff here lately, trying to get some content for our Foundry that we picked up a subscription. Well, we bought it and then subscription for a server to keep that going.
that's awesome.
But yeah, I was in a summer of looking for something else to play because I got tired of going back and looping back to WoW all the time, and there wasn't anything else really decent. WildStar was on its last leg, I think.
Or
at that point,
WildStar.
it was basically dead, and it made me cry. But it got to a point where they just weren't releasing new content at all, and it made me really sad. And I saw the end coming, so I started looking around for just anything new, and I was specifically looking for any alphas or betas. And lo and behold, I stumbled across Ashes of Creation on Kickstarter, new game coming out. All right, sounds good, because I used to do a lot of alpha and beta testing back in the day. That's what I would look for. I didn't want to spend money to play games, so I would look for all the games to test.
Right.
And I would jump from one to the next as soon as it would go pay to play. And I kind of missed that, so I said, hey, let me look for another one. And there it was. And I'm not one to just drop a bunch of money on a game, but Steven and the videos and everything that they put together, it sold it to me.
Yeah.
It's kind of everything I kind of wanted an MMO to be.
That's pretty cool.
Nice.
I don't know. I was on the fence hard back then, man.
For me, I had never backed it before. Hold on, I have to fix the video again. For me, I had never backed a game before on Kickstarter. I was fairly new to the concept of Kickstarter, but I had heard some good things about it, so I was like, clearly this won't ever be a scam. Like, I'll join in on this, but that's more on the Kickstarter side of it. Why Ashes specifically? Well, I was looking, and I really, really like even currently you can see in the game the realistic nature of the graphics, and I'd gone from WoW to, I think, a few other games, and then Final Fantasy after I met Vertec. But, pardon me, I was slowly getting closer to more of a realistic looking game, and once I laid eyes on like how beautiful the terrain was in Ashes, I just immediately, like, it had my vote, and I didn't even really care about much else. I kind of started off on a lower tier package, but I'd asked for years. I don't think years is a good answer. Months, rather. I'd asked for months for the ability to increase my backing level like the Kickstarters were able to do. And finally, after some time, they opened it up, and by that point, I had saved enough money that I was like, yep, getting right in there with him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, pretty much it sounded exciting. The videos were interesting. The fact that they already, for an alpha one, because I had done some game testing before, and let me tell you, usually what an alpha one looks like is a green screen with a bunch of dots on people to do the animations, and that's all you see. It's like really choppy up, or like the if there's voice lines, it's like the Siri, and then we went to the bar. Like, it's very like cut and paste, super cheap, just get it in there, at least as content. Like, when I saw Ashes though, and it had like the in-game world, and they're throwing fireballs and defeating enemies, I was like, wow, they've already put so much time into this. They can already like show off in-game footage. That is impressive. Sure, yeah. I'll join. Why not? So yeah, and then each year it just gets better.
Oh, it's better and better and better. Well, yeah, St. Gabriel says, the crafting and social networking or social leveling systems got me. I love making gear for people with names I like. I'm just imagining them running around the world. Just, you get a sword, and you get a sword, and you get a sword. Oh, I like that. And you get a sword.
That's awesome. So, one more question.
Bring it on.
How do you guys feel about the time frame? Like, we know they've already been pushed back almost, 2 years?
I personally am just fine with them pushing back, to be honest.
I'm fine with the delays as well. Like, I want them to build a complete product, but like, what the Star Citizen just hit 10-year milestone, right?
Oh, God.
Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen, I'm sure you guys are aware of. Like, there's 7 years in development with no alpha. You know, it's for me, it's not a question of will Ashes of Creation get all these systems and stuff in place. you know, all the stuff that they promise. But my dilemma is the time, you know. Are we looking at another 10-year project? That's for me what I was worried about during the Kickstarter.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm gonna go ahead and answer first, and then that way Vertek can get his spiel in. But my short answer is, it doesn't bother me, straight up. I am okay with the pushbacks as long as they're upfront about it, as they have been. I think Steven learned from the first pushback in his first timeline initially that it was a lot more, I guess, accelerated than what the reality was. That was the ideal release date, but as he began getting more game development experience, I'll say, under his belt, I think he's starting to realize that it's not as easy as that. But on the other hand, they are constantly trying to hire, so that tells me that they are trying to get as many good people in as quickly as possible to be able to push it to a more streamlined time frame than what they currently are capable of with the number of people that they've had and or have currently.
I have so many segues off that, but I'll just leave it.
Yeah, I guess I mean, my short and sweet answer is yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the delays to a degree. I mean, my inner gamer is screaming like I want to play it yesterday, like play the finished product yesterday.
I'm with you, man.
Done soon. But at the same time, I have gotten so many games in my hand that I couldn't wait to play, and they turned out to be I mean, it was worth the money that I paid, but it wasn't memorable because, well, it wasn't memorable in a good way because of the artifacts of bugs and everything that were left in, and just things just were bad and left a bad taste in my mouth. But
definitely don't want another Cyberpunk.
The comparison, no. Oh Lord, no. But yeah, the comparison to the other games that you're talking about is fair to a degree, but I believe that the thing that Ashes has a head up on them is that there's an alpha that's now under visual NDA still, but they're going to be releasing that here soon, quoty fingers soon, because they've given a date. But again, with the alpha development, you never know, it might get pushed back again. But they are constantly literally showing progress, not just saying, hey, we're working on this thing, trust us, we're working on it, believe me. No, they're showing all the progress all the time.
Yeah, I am very happy with the transparency. You know, I'm one of the people that I don't care about spoilers. Not a big spoilers guy. You know, the gameplay is gonna sell it for me. Show me everything. You know, tell me what I'm buying. So I'm on board for that.
Agreed. So, how about a topic that I know you are curious about talking about? How about that druid shaman healing pet class ? How do you feel about that, Miss GB? Having a healing pet with you?
I would like that. I'll have to admit, the one downside for me was I was a little sad that they didn't have a druid class. I like the druid class in D&D. I like the druid class in Pathfinder. I kind of enjoyed it in the many different versions of it in World of Warcraft. So just seeing there be no druid official class, I was a little sad. But if they're equating it to being a shaman, yeah, definitely sounds fun to me.
I think it'd be neat, honestly, just having a little creature that runs around. Didn't Final Fantasy 14 do that? They had like the little
scholar
pet
class,
run,
man.
Yeah, like they had a little pet that would like pop out a heal here or there.
Yeah, they had
I just thought that was neat.
It was and it had two different modes. You could control it yourself and just add like another like heal on your hotbar or whatever, or you could just put it on auto mode, and it was a smart heal. It would just heal the lowest health target on cooldown. It wasn't a big heal, but it was enough to like keep in. I did progression rating through a Realm Reborn when it launched on a scholar class with the fairy healer, and it's a lot of fun. Really cool class.
Yeah, I agree.
And I just gotta take a moment to say hello, Woodchip. We have missed you.
Hello.
We have
We
missed
did
you.
miss you indeed.
It's a rare appearance.
But also 26 months, yeah. I mean, that shows that we've been live for 2 years and 2 months at this point. Goodness.
At least, yeah. It's been a bit. It's been a bit.
It has been a bit.
But yeah, definitely a healer class with a pet. And Steven said he wants to make the pets actually mean something too. So they're not just going to be a random little buff sitting there doing little things. Like you're actually going to take a portion of whatever you can do and pump it into the pet. So you got to make choices and make them actually worth their salt.
Yeah, definitely.
And
You know, it's funny that you guys bring up like pets and stuff too, because you know, looking around on the forums and the discords, I'm pretty positive like at this point 90% of the player base is going to have summoner somewhere in their archetype, you know, their class makeup. They talk about it a lot.
at least an alt like that they play a lot. Yeah,
No.
absolutely.
A tank summoner where like the tank has a little pet that's also a tank.
I'm sold on the blade caller
Yes.
myself.
Yeah, see, that's one reason. That's one summoner archetype fit in that I would definitely try to do is tank summoner. Just because, how neat would it be to like the wall that they're talking about a tank throwing up on the battlefield to block people's movements? If it was just a bunch of little creatures that just rise up out of the ground real quick,
That would be really awesome.
That'd be cool.
or like they actually rise up and grab somebody's ankles instead of being a wall. It's like one or two things that grab like a couple people and hold them in place for a second. That'd be amazing.
No, I'm sold. I think I'm going blade caller, man. I've been pretty sold on that for a long time.
Okay. What that's the fighter summoner, right?
The fighter summoner, they say they can you know, summon bunch of swords and stuff that'll come fight for him. So do you guys watch anime at all?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Did you ever see like Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works,
One of my favorites.
where there's massive amounts of swords? That's all. Like I know it's not gonna be like that, but that's
Oh,
the
no.
vibes. That's the vibes it gives
I
me.
was
and really
giggling
just wanna do
because
that.
that's his all-time favorite show, TV anime series. That's just yes, Fate
Yeah, the
anything.
Fate
he's
series, I
watched
love 'em.
it.
Yep. Unlimited Blade Works was so good, and that's like when they say like the blade caller can just summon all these swords and stuff and just, you know, have him fight for him. I'm like, that's it, sold.
Open the gate and bring him down.
That's it, man. Ugh.
That's me.
Yeah, archer summoner. Says
For
Dante.
Gilgamesh, yeah, Ranger Summoner.
Or ranger summoner.
Yep.
Yeah, close enough. Close enough. Too bad there's not like a snot nose archetype, because that'd be in there, but he's a little snotty. Oh my. So what has anything lately caught your attention specifically, Aurora?
Honestly, outside of them reopening the Alpha 1 sales, that was like all I was banking on, just so I could finally get in there. I was, you know, because I gave them the 250, no, the 375. I paid the 375 for the Voyager pack. So, you know, hang on, my stupid Roomba just turned on. 1 second, I'll be right back. It's gonna be too noisy. But no,
Okie dokie.
for me it was the dragons. You know, I love PvP, and I fully know what to expect with PvP with Ashes of Creation. Like, I know it's gonna be crazy, you know, with a lot of world ganks and stuff like that. It's gonna happen, right? But like, for me, I'm a big PvE guy as well, and a good, somebody turn it off, and a good PvE massive boss like the dragons just really did it for me.
Yeah.
And to see the mechanics were actually like doing something, you know, it wasn't just a tank and spank. Like, you know, in the video where that dragon looks up in the air, conjures that big ass energy ball, and it just like explodes and rains down on everybody. This is really cool.
Yeah.
And the combined mechanics on the ice dragon. Don't get caught in that thing, break out, or else you're gonna die as soon as he shatters everybody.
You know, and that was the really cool thing, is like, I was actually happy to see, like, I know it still needs some balancing, like this stuff's gonna happen, but I was actually really happy to see that in their last video, during the siege, when they went to fight the dragon, they all got wiped. That was really something.
Yeah.
And the yeet spell that the that one little world boss has, kept
Yep.
throwing Steven over the
It's
edge
pretty
of the
good.
mountain.
Pretty good. So
I actually
I'm happy for the world
actually kind of
bosses.
hope that's intended.
Yeah.
I
I
agree.
actually kind of hope that's intended. That like the tank, if they don't do it just right, or somebody doesn't do their job just right, they get thrown across the map like a good 100 yards away. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Dante says,
Uh-oh.
a fate. Lancelot versus Emiya. Who would win? Emiya. Gotta say it.
I would agree.
Lancelot's badass, but Emiya, man. No, Volga.
Yeah, I'd
That
probably
fast travel exploit. Yeah, if you want to put your life on the line for it, Ravuda. But talking about interesting items and different weaponry and all that, there was a post on the forums from somebody named Grim, and the title was, "What actually is a rare item? What makes it just that?" And the problem that they had was things like the backstory and lore behind a weapon, like, I don't know, maybe World of Warcraft had, where there was this one specific item that this one person of legend, got a hold of and crafted it themselves, or whatever the story is, and it became this legendary icon of whenever you see this thing, you're in trouble, or what have you.
Sort of a thousand
And
truths.
Everybody has it suddenly. Everybody has it. Literally everybody of one class has that sword or that hammer or that whatever. So how do you feel about that type of thing in the game? And does it hurt you? Does it make you feel pained, or is it like whatever?
Not really. As long as the journey to get that sword feels, item, whatever, feels rewarding. Like, that just because all these other people have it, they had to go through the same grueling experience that you did, and then when you get it, you feel better for it. EverQuest had their epic weapons that they called them. They were massive quest lines that every class had to go through near the end game, at least through the Plains of Power expansion. And you would always see, like, I played a bard, and I would always see the bards with the singing steel short sword, and I always say, man, I want that so bad. And it was just this coveted item, and the quest to get it was massive. And then when you finally got it, it was very, very rewarding. Took me months from the start to the end of that quest line to get that weapon.
Gotta push and be dedicated. I know some guilds that have pushed for months to get one person a specific item.
Yeah.
That was it. Like, that's truly legendary. But one thing that they say in here is so with each item class or rarity, you have one of several factors, such as total amount, like the number of them that can exist, a spawn rate %, time limit ownership, proximity amount allowed without massive catastrophes or events happening, and then rules or consequences. Those last two actually kind of intrigue me. They said for one example was player A has found a helmet, item 1 of 5 in total. The helmet is blessed. As long as the bearer never enters a certain region of the land, they're blessed. One day, however, player A enters the northern woods and the gods are furious. In retaliation, the helmet becomes cursed and the blessing is twisted to the opposite outcome. Now suddenly, instead of, say, loot has X amount to get extra gold, it has a higher chance of including less gold in all drops. Like, do you think that'd be something that'd be difficult for them to get in there? And or how do you think players would react if they go through all the trouble of getting a legendary item suddenly to have it cause a catastrophe or completely warp if they mistreat it?
I don't know, man. Like, what are the odds? How would they implement a system like that? Would it just be like the smallest drop chance, from specific tiers of bosses, or would it be a crafted item that, like, because there's gonna be guilds out there that are gonna feed people loot, right? a good example I use a lot is Asmongold. Everybody knows who Asmongold is, right? When he took over Classic World of Warcraft, he basically just told his thousands upon thousands upon thousands of viewers, hey guys, I need this. And they literally do it. So what's to stop him from doing that in a game like this, where if that node where the said legendary item exists, they just, you know, everybody work towards one goal and give it to me, you know? Does that take the fairness out of it? If somebody could earn it on their own, or, you know, maybe it was that's just super duper duper rare chance where like that one lucky player just gets it, those things are different. But if it's something that can be earned and potentially one player given that right instead of earning that right is completely two different things.
I think there's two things there.
We'll see.
The first thing would be, if it's legendary, don't let it be tradable, for one. It's something legendary. It's something that you should... The way that they should be able to do this is kind of like if you have two leather wearers in a party in World of Warcraft, the chances of a leather item dropping is higher, etc. They should make it to where it's something that might be kind of unique to your class. So like kind of piggybacking off of what Super TCG was saying, I agree, it should be something, a pro and a con, but to go against less magic damage but more physical damage. Maybe it does less physical damage but more healing. Something that feels specific to your class and that feels not worth trading with somebody else because it's too good of a thing for you to give up, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But also I really do feel like it should be unique to you, and that if you just trade it off, it kind of, in my opinion, lowers the value of it. Now there are certain situations where I could imagine that being a really heart-wrenching situation. For example, let's say Vertek and I are constantly in a party, and at one point I got a legendary, and then let's say a few months later I accidentally got another legendary, but he hasn't gotten one yet. I'm gonna feel horrible that I got legendaries and that he hasn't had any yet. So I'm obviously gonna be like, I wish I could just give this to you, because I'm just gonna feel so bad about it. So I don't know. I think legendaries are interesting. I actually like more so the idea of having a positive and a negative rather than it being twisted, because the first thing going through my mind is, fuck, there goes my legendary.
Right.
Like, it was supposed to be awesome and now it's not awesome. It's horrible. Unless there's like a quest line that I have to do to somehow win favor back with the gods to make it right again. But I'm probably gonna forget about that one place I'm not supposed to go, and there's probably gonna be a quest there, and I'm gonna be like, let's go do that quest. Like, oops.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I looking at a bunch of people could go and farm something to give to one person. It's kind of like, I don't know, becoming a mayor of a town as well. Like, you got to vote somebody in, right? And if somebody's going to get that item, and a lot of people want to get that item for somebody, why not get that item for that person?
Right.
It'd be something akin to like even a guild that does raiding all the time, and they want their star healer to have, you know, the staff of will bring you back from the dead.
Right.
It'd be akin to that, only on a different scale, different purpose behind it, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know. Like when you say that, you know, hey, there's only 5 items on the whole server. You know, it's people change. You know.
Oh yeah.
That changes a lot of perspectives.
Oh yeah.
You know, and that's when like the greed, you know, starts to show. And I don't know. That's a very interesting thing. Like we already kind of see it with the flying mounts, right? You know, there's only going to be a couple on the server at a time, and only the most important people are going to get them. You know, people are going to see these guys flying around. If only, even though it's only for a couple of weeks, days, whatever, they're going to get jealous. You know.
Oh yeah. I personally wouldn't get jealous though.
Yeah,
I like
I think they
the gliding idea though. That's enough for me. Gliding.
It's like Aeon.
Yeah, I like the jealousy factor though. Like I'm gonna look at it and go, man, I wish I had that. And it's gonna make it feel that much more impressive.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what drives MMORPGs. You know, I'll never forget the very first time, like back 15 years ago. You know, before like you could just literally jump on YouTube and just, hey, how do I get this? You know, I'll never forget the first time you saw Thunder Fury in classic WoW, right? You know, what is that? Where did it come from? How do I get it? You know, it drives a sense of adventure, makes you want to play the game and achieve these things yourself. You know, I think that's what a lot of current iteration of MMOs have lost, because most of that really cool stuff nowadays, where does it come from? Cash shop, right? Where do I get that? Oh, spend $20, done, right?
Yeah.
Now you're just standing there looking awesome, and you're like, what do I do now? You know, make us go out and get the stuff we want.
Yep.
Okay, so kind of catching up on chat, just because we like to make sure the community feels heard too. LexMax, thank you. 15 months. Oh wow, hello. Welcome back.
Holy mackerel.
Right.
Thank you.
Glad to see your name pop up in chat again. Okay, so let's see here. Hold on. Sorry, excuse me. Probably not a good idea to be drinking a carbonated drink on the stream. I'll just switch to regular water for the next one. Anyway, Super says, I know they want stuff to be to not be a bind on equip or a bind on pickup, but legendary should at least be class locked if they're class specific buffs. But maybe not, because anyone can wield anything. Hard to spot. I agree on that one. Volga says, give me all the quests. Ashes says, I think there will be a lot of people that see legendaries that they can't use directly on that character as something to break down or sell for mats to actually get a legendary that they can use. And which Volga says, yes, legendary mats. And I kind of agree with that. Having the ability to break down a legendary that you can't use and then be able to make it into something else, I kind of really enjoy that idea. Dante says,
I like that idea too. I'm just trying to really imagine like one instance where somebody goes and they get that thing and they're like, I can't even use this. Break it down, sell the mats, whatever. And then somebody else comes along because that one got destroyed and maybe there's only a certain number of them out there. As soon as it's destroyed, they can finally go get it. They come back, I got the thing. Because I destroyed that like a week ago. Man, I didn't want it.
Dante says, I think the best thing to do would be a system where once a legendary drops, it has a one-time 24-hour trade availability, and if it isn't traded within that 24 hours, or if it gets traded even once, it gets bound to the new character or account who owns it. I kind of like that idea. I like the 24-hour trade availability idea. I also really like the class lock, and I'm going to kind of elaborate on that in a minute. Voga says the item could be tradable to people who were with you, not someone who you want to sell it to, which kind of is nice, because if we're in a party and I got a second legendary, it'd be nice to be able to be like, here you go for a sec.
I kind of like the idea of having a specific window of time where you can sell off a legendary. Like it takes a certain amount of time to bond to somebody and really like literally become bound, but in a mystical way. But you would have a certain amount of time. What would that do to like communities? Like you can jump in and you announce an auction in the middle of town. There are 48 hours to buy this thing. Everybody tell your friends.
Right.
Oh my gosh. I was just thinking, you know how I think, was it Final Fantasy where you get a weapon and then like you have to fight with it, and after a little bit there's like this like big to do because you've like you've melded with your weapon or something, or your armor. What if that was like how legendaries were, where you fight with it and if you're like, this isn't for me, as long as you haven't melded with it, then you can sell it.
I could do that too.
I kind of don't want legendaries to be tradable or whatever, you know, because I can see a world where that's what the game becomes. Everybody just wants to farm legendaries so they can sell them and auction them, and that would become a big thing. Like, oh, this world boss is on, so now the biggest, largest guilds are going to go in there and they're going to shut everybody else out because of the open PvP system. and they're gonna farm it just so they can get that money and then just trade it off. You know,
Yeah.
I like the idea that the crafting materials, you know, are legendary. There's gonna be, you know, there's gonna be more materials dropping than actual completed items, from what I understand. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then you can take this legendary item and then somebody can create something that they want from it if they have the recipe and the skill required,
Yeah.
which we both know is going to be an undertaking all on its own.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I can't sell you a completed item and make tons of profit off that, but we can sell legendary materials, and if you have the skill to do so, you can make something that is going to work for you. You know what I mean?
Ooh, sorry. Between what you're saying, what Ashes of Nero is saying, what if you had an opportunity within like the first X amount of hours, or maybe upon picking it up? Do you take the weapon or do you take the recipe?
Do we know if recipes are going to drop independently from gear, or
I'm
how
not
recipes
sure.
are even obtained yet? Have they said?
From how it sounds like it's going to end up being, instead of a piece of gear dropping, it would be a recipe. Recipes would be more common than the weapon itself.
Interesting.
Because I think, I don't have the exact quote in my head like Jalan would, but I believe it went something along the lines of he wants people to go into raids to get the recipes, the schematics, and the materials to build stuff, and occasionally there will be an actual weapon or item of some sorts that would drop
Yeah.
when it comes
Yeah.
to the higher tier stuff. But it would be the occasion, so you're more likely to get the recipe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do also see the other thing of like not being non-tradable as long as they're like somehow class or primary archetype locked, like what Dante said. But I could see that being nice too, because then if you're like the lead healer or whatever and you get a better item somehow, then you can give another healer in your group a hand-me-down.
Yeah, I'm a fan of most, like, what did they say? A ridiculous number, like 90-something% of gear in the game will not be bound. It'll all be tradable. I'm a fan of that. I really am. There's nothing worse than like getting that item, even if it's not a legendary, an epic, a rare, whatever, you know, and then you finally get that. You build an upgrade, buy an upgrade, whatever. But you know, you got your buddy who's maybe he's poor and struggling. Here you go,
Yeah.
man. You know,
Yeah.
enjoy.
I also like the idea of possibly being able to break down a legendary and maybe make it into something that is more your speed. You could break down a legendary that's maybe a spear and bring it into more of a, I don't know, a staff or a sword, a shield, something that is more what you prefer to use on your character specifically. The other way that they could go about that is, congratulations, you have a legendary. Feel free to like right click and then choose what version of that legendary that you want so that it feels better. Like there's a little bit of like I got to choose which legendary, but it was still like, hey, it's not as bad as being like, oh, I got a shield, and I'm like, okay, but I'm a cleric and I don't use a shield, so what am I gonna do with the shield or a bow? I don't know. That's not my primary.
Super says alts. Forget friends. Gear out your alts.
That's a
Take care of
wow
me and mine.
said.
You know,
Right.
what
Now,
if you guys just kill that boss, right? Get your legendary crafting material and you're running back to town, and then that rogue jumps out of the bushes, takes you down, and that crafting material happens to be one of the percentage of portions you drop. Ugh.
Ooh.
I would cry. I would honestly cry.
Yeah, every weapon's a hunter weapon.
You respawn, open up your inventory, and it's gone.
A shame.
Yeah.
Guys, protect me. I need to get this back to town.
That's
Quick.
it.
Let's go.
That's it.
We're only 3 bosses in. I don't care.
Pretty much.
But then also, since we're on the topic of legendary items, do you think there should or should not be a limit as to how many you can obtain and where? Like, if they're super rare and super hard to get, should they even limit how many you can have?
I wouldn't say limit what I can have, but definitely limit what we can equip.
Sorry. Asmongold's face just popped on with the face.
I see it. There he is.
Little thinky face.
No, I definitely don't think there should be a limit to how many you can have, because there's nothing like, what if you're just soloing, right? And you happen to, like, some crazy rare drop just drops in front of you, but you already have a legendary and you can't even pick it up, right?
Yeah.
I think you should be able to pick them up for sure, but there should definitely be a limit to how many you can equip.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
that'd be
agree.
heartbreaking. Guys, get here fast. Somebody get this. Somebody get this.
Right.
Right?
Wasn't it WoW that like initially you can only get one legendary at a time, and then at a higher whatever you were allowed to have a second one?
I don't really
Towards like Legion,
know.
I think it was. It was. I quit
Well,
playing so
when
long
Legion
ago.
launched, they had when Legion came out with their legendary system, you could only have one, and then later on through some random class hall upgrades, you could eventually equip two.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad I'm not the
And
only
yeah.
one that says Legos. By the way, I almost put Legos in
Legos.
chat, but I'm like, will they even know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, Legos is a thing. It's a thing.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I think I've always been in favor of there being a limited supply of legendaries.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be pretty interesting if there was limited supply. I mean, I'm only saying interesting because not taking into account Super Guild that would farm all the legendaries to give to one person. But I think it'd be interesting to see somebody going through and building up their own set of like 5 legendaries or something.
Yeah.
Sorry. Super says, when a boss drops a Lego, make sure you don't step on it. That's a one shot.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Need healing. Going down.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. See, this is the kind of stuff that we used to talk about in the beginning, like on Discord. Just something would come up and we just go off on a whole side tangent and just talk about the one thing for hours. I miss that so much.
True story.
I don't know. Is anything else sounding interesting to you guys?
So there was a debate because I even so I watched a video from Zillan just today, and he was talking about how I think the title of the video was why this game is too hardcore for you, but you should play it anyway.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And
I liked that.
I'm saying that.
one of the things he said was that a lot of people, most of the people in the game are going to be kind of bound to one area, just because that's going to be your node, that's your home. You have things to do around your home. You got to focus on keeping it built up, building up the nodes around it, defending it, being at your freehold and defending that, and
You know,
et cetera,
you
et
gotta
cetera.
sweep, you gotta mop.
Yeah, exactly. So you got chores to do. You can't skip taking the trash out. But there's a post someone was talking about the debate between to settle down in a specific spot or to keep traveling.
Mm-hmm. I
And-
liked that one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really big on housing in MMORPGs. Like, I always participate and, you know, get a little decorations and stuff, but it's never been a large concern of mine. But I can see that being a valid point, like staying in one specific area, because, you know, your banks, you know, storage, stuff like that, like it's not worldwide. It's bound to where you put it. So I feel like that could absolutely, especially if you're not a big crafter.
Yeah.
Like if you're not that, if you're not really big into crafting or even gathering, like, yeah, you might want to go up north and get all these rare flowers or whatever, and then, you know, escort them back to your hometown where you're going to make the most money or whatever. Like, if you're not into that kind of stuff, like, it wouldn't be as important. But if that's where your market is, that's where your storage is, that's where your freehold is, all the crafting stations, the high tier crafting stations, like, you know, they've said it time and time again that Ashes will absolutely support a full non-combat playstyle.
Yeah.
And those people aren't going to have any reason to leave that town. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until it gets sacked.
Yeah, and that ties in actually real quick, just to circle it back to, I guess, wrap up the legendary thing. Ashes of Nera was saying that they would like, as far as crafting and legendaries goes, he has a concern about locking it behind raids, like the materials and recipes behind raves. I'd like for there to be a completely crafter-centric way to make them. Make it hard, super rare, involving master crafters, processors, and crafters, not only gated behind raids.
Oh wait, sorry. I have this planned specifically for when somebody subs, and I've been forgetting to do it, but here you go. Nice. Okay, so we do got the rave. I dig it.
We got it.
But yeah. And TV said, let there be light.
Let there be lights. Many lights of many colors. And then there were.
I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of one of those people that I'll go where my guild goes. I'll probably leave my area for a little while and go explore other places, because I'd like to do alchemy. I'd like to do tailoring. And I know that sometimes in order to get to what I need or what I want, I'm gonna have to go traveling to get it, you know? Dante. So I don't know, because as long as I know where my house is, I'm okay, you know? I mean, DJ is in your name, right? Dante said, let there be light, the goddess of palms, 2K21. But,
Oh, Lordy.
I don't know, my favorite part of this...
Here's my little dance.
I almost hear it.
You missed it. You missed it. It's gone.
Oh, okay. Well,
the moment's
I guess
passed.
I get to see it later when it's, you know, on YouTube. So, somebody quick, clip that. My favorite, though, is the number 2. Can I just read the second option?
Okay, yeah, ready, set, go.
Since day 1, start on leveling, slaying creatures, meeting new people, joining a circus troupe so you can travel in their caravan, sit down by a fire, eating Lego Raptors tail soup. They say it's the best in the Southwest region. Upgrade your gear, saving people, killing people, being rewarded, being robbed, having no limits your feet can walk. From the Misty Mountains through the Hell Swamp to the White Shores, sneak in a merchant ship, find out it's a pirate ship, be caught in a storm, being the storm, wake up as a castaway, being chased by cannibals, meeting human-sized spiders, giants, dragons, the love of your life, or a treasure full of gold. Maybe that's your true love anyway, or maybe the love of your life's a dragon. Find the most incredible loots, wake up knowing every new day is gonna have a different story. I love it.
That's all pretty accurate. That being robbed part definitely definitely stuck out.
Yeah, definitely. Oh no.
Oh my goodness. My goodness.
It timed him out for a clip. Thank you for clipping that, by the way.
I'll go ahead and I'll post it back out.
I saw that. I saw that dance. That was the.
My little boogie.
Yep, that's your little boogie.
Oh yeah, I'm famous now. Now.
Oh,
Dancing with the stars.
Oh goodness. I just love that. That's like a nice little like roleplay-ish, like commercial, infomercial-ish kind of feel to it.
Your Ash's life in a nutshell, right?
Yeah, there. Exactly.
I just like how on the poll there's different options. So there's settle down, being a farmer is my dream, which was option 1. Keep traveling, I'm going on an adventure is number 2. Both, which is first 1 then 2. Both, which is first 2 and then 1. And then I'll do whatever I want in this goddamn game. I'll take care of my pigs while traveling to hell. I don't plan, I just go.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Oh man. I think I'm gonna vote that just because I like it.
More of an adventure guy myself.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Just go explore, see what I can find. You know?
To walk down a lonely road, just get jumped by another combat whisper. Dante says, I imagine it would be a possibility for a random combatant to walk down a lonely road, get jumped by another combatant whispering him, your money or your life. Oh, I love it.
You know,
Oh, and
that's a topic we talk about a lot on our show is getting ganked and PvP and the circumstances that will arise because of it.
yeah.
I tell my buddy Gandex all the time because he's going to be a big crafter and he wants to be a blacksmith and mine all this ore. I told him I'm going to be on my rogue. I'm going to gank you all the time.
Oh no.
Get him.
Take all his stuff.
Don't take
My
this
question
stuff.
is, are you gonna keep your Genki character top secret like, or just is everyone gonna know like that was Roar?
I mean, kind of want him to know, right?
Just so you know, here's where you focus your anger when you're getting ganked.
It's funny too because I love trolls and in trolling people is my favorite. And like getting those hate messages like after you've done something bad to somebody, it's especially in Ashes. Like all you can do just like, hey man, I was picking flowers for hours and you took 40% of them. Hey, thanks. You know.
Or like
thanks for the contribution.
me in BDO when somebody like killed me without even like 2 seconds to be like, hey, this is my farming area. They just like flat out killed me, and I was like, you could have just asked. I would have moved. God.
Right.
You don't even get anything from BDO for killing people.
Well, that's like games like BDO or like World of Warcraft have created this mindset. Like red, you're dead, right? You see a member of the Alliance, you don't care, you just attack. Like, because there's no repercussions. So people have gotten in this rhythm, they've gotten used to it. Like, I can fight this guy all day long, I'll never lose anything for it. They're gonna take that same mentality into Ashes of Creation, and they're gonna do the exact same thing, and then they're gonna realize, oh, this sucks, this hurts. This is hurting me.
Lit by a bounty hunter group.
Yep. It's like the mentality's, it's gonna come as a hard shock to a lot of people, I think.
Especially if you can't go into town to sell your stuff or unload things into storage, or you just got to go out and get your karma back.
Yeah.
And somebody actually, I believe it was Ganthor, who posted something a while back, kind of tossing around the idea of a kind of a villainy traveling caravan, where there would be a traveling caravan that wouldn't ever be in the same spot, or at least it would take a rotation anyway. And that was a place that people who have gone corrupted could go to actually visit a merchant and sell things or buy stuff and such like that. What would your take on that be, with no other prompting with the discussions that we had?
I don't know, man.
Sounds like a D&D game.
Kinda, yeah. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I have a take on that.
I kind of almost like it, because I'm going to be a bounty hunter, and I would love to be able to look around and get a bounty hunter party together and just run around and say, okay, let's look for the caravan. Where is it at? And then just scout the caravan and just hang out there in the trees until we start seeing little red dots on the map start running towards the merchant to sell stuff.
Well, see, but that would be difficult because there's no corruption, right? There's no corruption gained in an open PvP thing like a caravan or a siege.
Oh, I mean, like if it were a traveling caravan, not like going from one city to one city, but like a traveling caravan,
like the guys
almost
that
like a moving
just
town.
looted, like the guys that just looted the dungeon for an hour and now they're coming back with all their stuff, kind of thing, or
like an NPC, almost like a nomadic NPC town. There would be like a very small encampment that would be centered around like a couple wagons.
Okay.
And that would be the only place the NPCs would put down stakes and hang out there, and corrupted people could come up and sell their wares there, or buy supplies, that type of thing. But it would be the only place, and it would be traveling, never in the same spot.
Interesting.
So that it would have some place for corrupted people to go to sell their stuff, but also some place for bounty hunters to scout out and potentially almost set like a trap there.
That would be very interesting.
I have an idea just in my head of like there's another one, boys. Like, just,
Oh, I love it. The red market.
That's interesting, that you bring like that kind of like safe haven for the corrupted player, for the scoundrels, to hang out in and always kind of be like a hot spot for the bounty hunters, but there would have to be some sort of like traps, you know, in place just to keep the bounty hunters from just standing outside the gate waiting for people to leave. That would be really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, easy peasy.
Safe
They'd find the
haven.
camp and hang out in the trees or whatever, looking
Yeah.
for someone to come up to it. But as soon as bounty hunters specifically get near, there could be a flag for the caravan. Just they start packing everything up, and the NPCs just get
That
out
would
of
be-
dodge.
That would
Okay,
be pretty cool.
bye.
After like 100 yards, it just disappears, and that goes and resets up somewhere else, like across the map somewhere.
So are you guys PvPers or PvEers?
I am 95% PvE, although I do like to dabble in PvP. Mainly stuff when I'm planning to go PvP. The world PvP stuff is gonna kick my ass. I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
I was gonna
going
ask.
to.
I did a video on world PvP and what it means to the PvE player, and like, what do you guys feel about PvE, or I'm sorry, PvP, player versus player, influencing like 95% of what this game has to offer?
Well, honestly, as much as I hate that idea, it's kind of a big, firm part of Ashes, and it's probably not going to change.
It is. It really, really is.
So, I'm interested in trying it out, is what I've decided.
You know, and it's different too, because it's not just PvP. Like, you're losing a lot if you die, and not only dying to players, it's dying to mobs as well. It's dying anywhere, really. You know. I bring it
Hey.
back. Oh wow!
Thank you for the raid.
Look at that.
Hello, hello, everybody.
You-
Welcome to the tavern.
Wow. But you know, I talk a lot about World of Warcraft and I'm sorry, EverQuest, and how we had our open world dungeons, like farm spots. Like, you used to walk into a farm spot, like Castle Mistmore or whatever, and you would literally ask, all right, where is everybody at? You would ask in open general chat, and everybody would say, hey, we're at Group A, we're at Group B, we're at Group C. Those were the farm spots, and you would literally just sit down at the front of the zone, and you would wait for a spot to open up. Well, in Ashes, if you want that spot, you just go kill that group and take it, right? And your whole grind experience, your whole leveling experience, whatever you're doing in that dungeon at that time just got canceled. You know, unless you have a group big enough to come combat it, and then you're dealing with corruption and possible experience debt just from dying the whole lot, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Well, see here
I
also
agree.
you also have the fact that there's a lot of the world that's going to be governed by PvE activity as well, because where you're going to get the best gear going into raids. And no offense to the open world PvP people out there, but a lot of them don't have the attention span or care to go into a big raid. They want to get their PvP in, they want to go world PvP, they want to do some scheduled PvP, organized PvP, and that's what their interest is. They don't want to stay in a raid for terribly long, so they're going to depend on people to go and actually do PvE stuff as well
Yeah.
to get them
Right.
their gear to be able to go world PvP.
Yeah. I actually got to try Elion, and I actually really enjoyed PvP when I was with my guild and all of us were together. When I'm by myself and I'm getting ganked, however, is a whole other story. It really like disgruntles me. I think it's because when I was younger, I was first starting to play World of Warcraft. I was at my dad's a lot. But I would get ganked constantly in that one specific area in not Outpost. Where is it called? It's just that
Outland.
big Outland, yeah. It's just that one area where it's specifically PvP allowed, no matter if you queued up for it or not. And I was just really angry as like this
Dealing with that currently
14-year-old,
myself.
15-year-old dealing with that. Like, I'd res and then they'd kill me again, and I'd res and they'd kill me again. Finally, I just give up. I would get so frustrated. I'd like cry, quit the game for a little bit, and go do something else.
Yeah. It's the world PvP, like, there are people that just want to gank. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. You know,
Yeah.
and it's funny you say that about the PvP, because only the best like geared people, they have to go put the time in, kill these PvE bosses. It's funny you bring that up because like there's no instancing, right? There's no instancing in Ashes of Creation. So that dragon or giant or whatever, what have you, sitting at the bottom of that dungeon who has the best loot? What do you do if two massive raid groups show up to that boss at the exact same time? Because it's not like the current iteration of World of Warcraft where everybody gets a participation award. Do you think that other guild's just gonna sit there and let you kill that boss and get that legendary crafting material? Or are they gonna contest you?
Be a lot of contesting in open world raids.
Yeah.
There is. It's gonna be massive. It's gonna turn into big battles, you know. I think back to vanilla World of Warcraft and the World Dragons, Horde versus Alliance. You guys would fight for 5 hours before somebody finally gave up and let them kill that World Dragon. You know, I think it's going to be the same thing. I think it's going to be the exact same thing.
I also see a whole lot of cooperation between PvE and PvP people. There's going to be PvP people waiting in the wings of a raid, just waiting to descend upon someone trying to mess up the guild or group that's hiring them to stand guard.
Yeah. I think mercenary guilds are absolutely going to be a thing. We need bodyguards. We'll hire you.
Yeah. I was gonna say, imagine like being that poor like 14, 15-year-old like I was, and like their mom not understanding like the whole point of Ashes and being like, come do your tour right now. You said you were gonna do this 2 hours ago. Yeah, I can't stop, Mom. We're kind of fighting everyone.
Just pause it. I can't
pause it. That's where I think our children in the future are gonna have it easy. Okay, here's the deal then. You do your chore before your scheduled raid time. Done.
Yep.
I won't bother you. I'll completely understand. If anything, you're probably going to be in our guild and we'll be there right there with you.
Yeah, I think PvP is going to influence a lot. A lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I think Ashes of Neri, you got it pretty on the head there. I mean, I'm not sure if it's going to necessarily be punishing for solo players so much as it's going to be not rewarding to solo players.
Yeah,
it's not going to be as rewarding because I don't think it's going to necessarily be like since you're playing solo, we're going to disadvantage everything for you so much as you got to go out and get those advantages by working with people. Like,
you do.
Not taking anything away, you're just not going to get the bonuses at the end. It's like you're not going to get punished by not winning a race if you don't participate. But if you participate and don't win the race, well, you just got to try harder. But you know, at least they didn't take it away from you if you did win.
I mean, on the bright side, that's why they have like those, what are those? Prizes just for trying. You know?
Yeah. Participation awards. That's what it is. You know?
They should definitely have those. Because that's...
The current generation of gamers definitely don't... I don't think they understand that solo mentality is not present in older school MMOs or I think what Ashes of even though they claim it's going to have tons of solo content, I don't think it's going to be what people think it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be the stuff you sing songs about necessarily so much as, I had a pleasant time. I enjoyed my time. It's not going to be like the bardic tales of glory when you're a solo player. It's not going to be that.
Agreed.
We'll find out. You're pretty quick too.
Never died to dysentery on the Oregon Trail.
Oh my gosh.
Sprained my ankle. Now I'm dead.
Now I'm dead.
Can I go into the news? Yeah.
Let's do it. What we got for news?
Going into the news, Ashes of Creation, outside of their most recent live stream that they had last week, which Simberg was on our chat to talk about, or on our show to chat about, this week they have offered up a question. Death is inevitable in video games, which goes along with what we're just talking about. Tell us a time where a quest or dungeon had you playing deja vu.
Quest or dungeon, huh?
Yeah.
I guess I'll open up because I was thinking about this one and it immediately came to mind of WildStar Dungeons and Raids, especially when it first came online. Because you could go into a dungeon fully geared to be able to do it. Like your gear was fine. you could even play your class really well, but if you didn't move out of certain mechanics and you didn't kill certain mobs first, you would wipe in the first dungeons of the game probably 17 times in a night.
Goodness.
Without blinking. Like, even after you got geared, you could still get destroyed. After you got raid geared, you could still get destroyed in a dungeon if you didn't watch your P's and Q's. Yeah, and then the raids happen, and well, that's a whole different ball game of ouch. But it was so fun. I can't tell you how many times I've fallen in a giant space pit because the boss would knock the floor out from under me.
I don't know so much about deja vu, but you know, something that like I get reminded of all the time, like leveling up in a dungeon, right? You guys pull a big group of mobs, and in the middle of the fight somewhere, you're just about to die, you're almost there, and the end is upon you, and then all of a sudden you kill that one mob, and ding, and you just go full health and full mana, and it like saves the whole fight.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's funny too, because EverQuest had experience, I wouldn't say experience debt, but experience lost upon death. And it was just the opposite in like EverQuest. You would you know, in the middle of the fight, ding, you'd level up, but then the fight turned sour and you would die, you'd lose experience, and then you'd go dong and you level down, and you're just like, oh man.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and
Oh
like
my gosh.
every time I'm in the middle of a fight, I'm in that kind of oh shit moment, and then you level up and it just saves the day. It reminds me of olden days when it was the complete opposite.
Aw. I personally don't think I've had a dungeon that felt like deja vu outside of purposefully wiping multiple times on a progressive raid. So I'm not really sure for my input on this. So as my input, I'll give the chat's input. I think, yeah, Dante says, question for all three of you. What percentage of a dungeon's success chance should depend on gear, and what percentage chance should depend on ability to flawlessly follow mechanics? I feel like it should be like a good 50-50. There should be some room for error for mechanics, but it's like if it hits you once, I'm sure you'll survive. If it hits you a second time, you better have learned from the first time, otherwise you're gonna be dead. As somebody who plays primarily a healer, I really, 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 really prefer when people get that down, because otherwise...
So you're super aware of people standing and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
And I've purposefully, like, I mean, whether or not people like me for this is another thing, but if I run with a guild long enough, I know who's gonna do what, and I know who the more important people are, because the more important people are the people that are alive, and not the people that are constantly dying for the 5th time. So you're gonna stay dead because you died 3 times already. I'm not rezzing your ass. I need my big res for somebody more important than you that's gonna stay out of shit.
Yep.
Sorry.
You're absolutely not wrong. Like, I play a tank. I play a tank in a lot of the games that I play, and you know who to taunt off of and stuff like that. Like, we used to play with this guy that would pop all of his cooldowns on pull before threat has even been established. He pulls complete threat and dies, and he's like, why didn't you save me? Well, there's a reason.
I mean,
you know?
we can't all be Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Dante, stand on fire once, shame on you. Stand on fire twice, take off all your clothes. By that I mean your epic gear. You don't deserve them.
Exactly. Unless, hello by the way, Unless, thanks for stopping by, says AOC's success will purely be determined by the player's interaction and keeping up those interactions day to day, week to week, month to month. Also, a test to see how dead can the game be to still truly work and driving people to keep playing it. Things we won't know until the game has been out, right?
Yeah. But I guess my response on that, as much as I would love to say 50% gear, 50% skill, or even 60-40. I think it honestly should be 75% gear and 25% skill, but you need that 100% in order to pass. Like you can't just lollygag it around how like I finished 80% of the whatever, so we win. No, you need to be that 100%. And the reason I say that is if you look at games that already are mostly focused on gear, like some of the fights in WoW, people can still die to mechanics, even if it is already based mostly on gear and people have that gear. So if you make it more about skill and less about gear, then suddenly those people with all that gear that passed through, now it's going to be even harder for them. Like it's got to be balanced around whatever you make it, to be honest. But the more emphasis you put on gear, and not necessarily a high gear level, but specific gear even, the more emphasis you put on that, the more it makes you have to experience all of the content instead of just going max level, end game raid, I got it, with quest gear, because gear only matters for like 20% or 50% of the time. But I can execute flawlessly, so with end game questing gear, I'm going to go and beat the end raid. Let's go. So that's my only take.
Yeah, I agree with you to a point here. I think it depends on the content level. You mentioned World of Warcraft, you know. World of Warcraft has what, 85 difficulty levels of dungeon, right? You've got,
I think only 83 levels, I think.
Yeah, my bad, 83. You know, they've got normal, heroic, mythic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up as far as you can push it, right? You know, gear, I agree that gear should play a part. I don't think gear should ever put you into God mode. Like, oh, I can just do anything and everything in this dungeon because of my gear level. But like World of Warcraft's a good example. If you go in, if you're super duper geared and you go into a normal or even heroic version of that dungeon, you can stand in every single mechanic. Nothing's gonna hurt you. You're just gonna face roll right through that, right? But as you progress into the higher dungeons, gear becomes important, but also your skill. It kind of becomes hand in hand, because if I'm super duper geared, I'm geared enough to deal the damage to kill this boss, but if that boss's mechanic hits me, I'm gonna die. Yeah. So you need to have the skill to dodge it, but you also have to have the gear to DPS it down. So it kind of goes hand in hand. But Ashes isn't gonna have those like difficulties that you can. What difficulty are we putting this on, guys? I'll put it on Mythic 5. You know, let's do a Mythic 5 key, and we'll go in and do that. Like Ashes isn't gonna have that, but they are gonna have their evolving scaling bosses. Like if the earlier, like the dungeon's going to remember, if these earlier bosses posed no threat, the next boss is gonna have new mechanics. It might be a little bit harder, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
But
to be honest, I also like go ahead. I was gonna say, to be honest, I also like a good variety throughout a dungeon or raid too. I do like there to be, you know, like the DPS check boss. I do like there to be the tank check. I do like there to be the healer check. I do like there to be the how well can you execute strategies check.
Yeah.
And like some of those are going to be less dependent on gear, and some are going to be more dependent on gear, and some are going to be more dependent on a specific person having all the gear and all the skill.
I agree 100%. You know, after a really, really technical boss that you just stress yourself out trying to get down, it's really nice for the next boss to be like your standard tank and spank with one mechanic. It's so nice.
Yeah. DPS check, just burn it. Go.
Yep.
The things I was gonna say was, first, the reason why I say 50-50 is because I've been there, especially with WoW. Thanks, WoW. With the whole if you don't have this gear score specifically, you're not getting into this. But I almost have that. Yeah, too bad you're not getting into this. Like, can I even try, please? Like, what if I have the mechanics down pretty well because I've watched a lot of videos and I've been practicing? But, like, what if I just need, like, that one chance to be able to get the better gear? Like, it's a catch-22 at that point. But the other thing I was going to say is I wonder if the different dungeons and whatnot are gonna know, like, this is a different group of people from the last time, so we have to try their specific, or
Are
like
you talking about how the bosses scale?
yeah, or like will it be
Like
as you
if
go into the dungeon, depending on how easily you kill the previous things, it begins
Right.
to make things deeper in the dungeon harder.
Like you're saying, like some group goes in a little bit before you, face rolls the first 3 bosses, and then they're like, all right, we're done, and they leave, and now you pick up where they left off and left
Yeah.
it super hard for you because you might not be quite as up to par.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Your teeth kicked in by the next boss
Yeah.
immediately, or if
Yeah.
maybe it'll tag
that's an
like
interesting take. Yeah.
a group
Yeah.
of people or something.
The other thing I was gonna say is I do see Vertex thought process on it on a different reasoning than his. The reason why I see that is because Steven did say he did want this to be not PvP gear and then PvE gear and then whatever gear and then whatever other gear. Like all the gear sets should be fairly okay for everything, not just multiple different gear sets. Like you put this set on for PvP, you put this set on for PvE, etc. So having the dungeons be 75-ish% like gear and then 25-ish% your capabilities, your skills, I feel like that serves better because I mean your gear is going to be speaking for you for most of this game, whether it's how easily or uneasily you get ganked or how
Right.
easily you survive in a raid or dungeon. But
Right.
Roar, Dante has a question for you.
Okay.
He says, I have a weird question for you, but let's say that you are a part of a guild that you as part of a guild found out the strategy for beating a certain dungeon, but your guild is the only one who knows it. Now, would you focus on being an Ashes player and keep the secret so that your guild is the only one who can farm or finish that dungeon? Or would you focus on being a content creator and make a YouTube video explaining the exact strat on how to beat the dungeon, thus revealing the secret?
Oh, I don't know. I've never been in that situation, you know.
Are you part of a guild already?
I'm kind of up in the air at the moment. I have a pretty decent group of players. There's around 10 to 15 of us that have been hanging out in Discord and playing together for the better part of like 10 years now. So
Yeah.
we usually jump from game to game, and we usually try to, you know, but guilds like World of Warcraft specifically, like you join guilds as quick as, you know, you drink a can of soda in that game. So
Yeah,
we have
yeah.
I have a personal play group that we play very, very well together, and we do try to push content. But as far as like a large scale guild, I do not currently have one. No.
I was
But
gonna
anyways,
say,
yeah,
all future guild leaders are like, do you want them in our raid?
well, that's just it. Like you know, I honestly don't. I don't think I have an answer for that, because like you could
That's a tough
potentially
question.
like piss off your play group,
Yeah.
you know, or even many play groups, you know, just because we're in there and we have the strat down, we figured it out, we know the secret, doesn't mean that the next guild behind us doesn't know that. You know, people are gonna figure things out through trial and error.
Right.
But there could
right.
be a select few people who do. And then if I go on YouTube and I reveal the secret, I could have just pissed off a whole lot of guilds, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
that thought they knew the secret. So
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. That's a hard one. That's a hard one to answer.
Was it you that was talking about the person that was like streaming during their like raid or whatever, and the raid leader was gonna kill them until they realized that they put a black box saying like, figure it out yourself, noobs, or something like that?
No, that wasn't me. That's
Oh, okay.
funny though.
Yeah, so somebody was like, basically they're all part of a raid, and the raid leader's like, nobody stream this raid, like we don't want the secret of how to defeat the raid boss at the very end to get out. So this guy's like streaming anyway, and then they finally get to the boss, and he just puts up this entire, like you can't see anything, you can just hear things, but like just this big black box that just like, noob, go figure it out yourself.
I like Laura's answer in your chat there. Just talk to your guild and whatever's
Yeah.
agreed upon, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I
Like
was
clearly
gonna say,
people are gonna know I'm a content creator. If I make a video and post it giving away the secret, I can't, you know, unless I'm like the anonymous guy, they're gonna know.
Oh,
So
yeah.
having
Yeah, I
a
mean,
conversation to be like, if they're cool with it first, you know, that's a good answer.
Yeah, that's pretty much the direction I was going to go with my answer. Was going to be, yeah, well, how about you can do both? Totally record the thing, record the attempts. When you beat it down, just start editing the bejeebus out of that video, give it the agreed upon amount of time, and then blast that video out. And it's already prepped up, ready to go, looks beautiful.
There's a solid reason in past raids that these world first guilds in World of Warcraft their competitions, they didn't stream their world first progress. There's a reason for that, you know?
I also like Lore's second answer though. I mean, in Ashes, what's the likelihood of somebody else having that specific node leveled to that specific exact level that caused that specific dungeon to appear? Like there might be some people that focused on a whole other node somewhere else and have a completely different dungeon out there. This isn't WoW anymore.
Dante. Oh, before I read Dante's thing, by the way, Extermicides, let's tell Roar that Extermicide is here supporting both him and the Golden Feathers. Sorry he's late. Dinner called. I, for one, understand the calling of food.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So I get you. Be as late as you need if dinner calls.
Yes.
But welcome. Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, indeed. Making me feel old over here again.
I've watched so much Tom and Jerry. Can't even.
Yeah, Dante. Nah, bro. In response to Penguino saying, remember when you had to play the game and learn it yourself or actually talk to people about it instead of watching YouTube? Nah, bro. I was born in 1998. I watched more Minecraft tutorials than I've watched Tom and Jerry.
That's exactly it.
I dig it.
The world of trial and error that I grew up with are over, unfortunately. You know, but like Lore said, you know, right there in that comment, what's the likelihood of somebody having a dungeon on this server that another server doesn't have, or whatever, node leveled up?
It's pretty high, to be honest.
It is, and I think it isn't. You know, in a world we live in, with social media being what it is, and the large scale influencers being what they are, if somebody on a server has some badass dungeon that has some really cool drop, and he's streaming it for 100,000 people, you know, other servers are gonna be like, oh, we want that dungeon too, you know?
What if they have a similar dungeon and somebody else is streaming that?
It can go both ways, but I think it's gonna happen quicker than we want, because people are gonna say, like, you know, it's gonna take months and months and months and months to explore the total world of Vera, you know, but I think people are gonna be compiling information, and I think that wiki is gonna be filled up a lot quicker than we think it's gonna be, and pretty soon the world won't be so much of a mystery anymore. People are gonna know what dungeons have the best loot and which nodes to level up, and it'll become, you know, I know that they're not gonna have a meta, but I think pretty soon there will be a meta.
Yeah, I just think that it's going to be pretty varied between servers, and it's going to be outside of maybe the first or second node, right there outside of the starting area. Outside of that, that's going to be common for all the servers for a long time, until that one gets destroyed by a couple node wars, and it just gets wiped out many times over, and then it's probably going to build back up again. But yeah, outside of that, I think it's going to be pretty varied, and there's going to be a lot of different things going on. And I think that is going to be a situation where one streamer is going to be showing off secrets to one dungeon. Everyone's going to say that's fantastic, and then someone's going to be showing a different one in a different server and a different one in a different server. It's going to be like 5 different dungeons, but you can only move 2 nodes at a time or something.
All I can say is whatever becomes the streamer server, stay away from that one.
Yeah. Oh man.
True story.
I like how Ashes says Tom secretly loves Jerry but pretends to want to catch him so he doesn't get replaced with another cat, and that would actually eat Jerry. Hashtag good guy, Tom. And then Super has a question to us and the chat. If Grumpy were to only say one word for the rest of his life, what would it be? I don't know Grumpy enough for this. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just gonna say scrimps.
Scrimps.
But yeah, we don't know. We don't know.
Grumpy is relatively new to our chat. Yeah, not that well.
Vertic doesn't know. Vertic doesn't know.
We know him kind of, not super well. I mean, the RP server
We
is
have
gonna
not
be the
learned
best,
the
and the
magic
streamers
word.
won't touch that. You should just go with
that's
yes.
one way of looking at it. But yeah.
Yeah. Chicken.
Chicken.
Oh man, now I want popcorn chicken.
Oof.
You and me both.
I'm
Now.
so hungry.
See, now that you mentioned it, why'd you gotta break me?
Jeez, super. Get out of chat. I'm just kidding.
Better than yesterday. What happened yesterday, sir?
Bye. No, I'm just kidding. If I had one word, it would be go with meep. All right,
That's a good one. I like it.
I'm
I
gonna go
support
ahead
that.
and swap this over to the fan focuses.
Ooh, there's some good stuff in there.
Oh, there is. Indeed.
So should we make Z drool over somebody's sculpture first, or
I was planning on that actually. Yes.
should everybody the funny thing first?
I have to get there though. You have to give me like a second. There's things I gotta do.
Things that gotta be done.
Yeah. There we go. Okay. So I'm gonna transition.
Isn't
to
it so
here.
good, Z? I'm sorry, I love Voxav. Has he been putting out comics that I haven't seen, because he needs to get back to that. His comics were fantastic.
Oh right. Yeah. Okay.
You can do it. I have faith in you.
I'm gonna try. Certainly gonna try. This courier is super awesome, I have to say. I did not expect what I am seeing currently, so I'm just gonna hold off my thoughts until. Okay, there we go. Whew, I have it muted, so if there's audio, I am sorry. Look at this. Look at this.
Look at that little guy.
Wow.
Look at that little guy.
It's so cute. I'm gonna replay it. Yeah. That is super detailed. Goodness.
Yeah.
Can I just have him to be on my desk so I could just touch the cute little courier, please? I just super
pretty
wanna
good.
touch it. It's pretty adorable. And then
Scales
we
like
have-
almost like a warbler.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's so cute. Pangolin courier. Yes. Let's see. Grab this. Grab that. And then that.
But yeah, Bushi, glad to hear the pain's better today. Sorry I was getting you yesterday. Dap Blank says, at host, would you take in-game payment to kill a non-combatant?
Nope. Because I don't do that anyway.
I think it would depend on who the non-combatant is and why I'm being paid to go after them.
There we go. There's your meme.
If it's because they're typically a combatant and or corrupted person, then yeah, sure, absolutely.
Wow,
And
the
yes, I love
thing
this.
was tiny like TV Bre- Oh, thanks, Cash. Thanks. I know I'm tiny. For those of you that don't know, I'm 4'10", so. Both
Tiny.
wear sandals.
It's a true story.
Is he
Wears
just
glasses.
the reincarnation?
Interesting.
We will never know. Oh goodness.
Wow.
Oh, you're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. We saw you were trying to talk some Ashes stuff, so we like to spread the love. When we have people hanging out and we're trying to run away, we like to share the love. Give them another show to watch.
I'm here too, it's not just Vertec.
It's true. Actually, she runs the control of the show right now.
I do.
Maybe someday I'll be doing it, but right now, it's all on her.
I am in power of who we raid. Mwahaha. Yeah, 4'10". I have a question for you. Peeps 2 if interested. Okay, let me swap back because I think that's it for the fan focus for this week. Okay. I swap
But
back
it's
into
been a
the
fairly
wrap up.
tame-
Yeah. fairly tame week this week, right? All right.
Yeah, fairly tame.
So, Ashes of Nair says, if Intrepid actually planned to test Alpha 1 every Friday from now on, for the next year, for example, are you going to change your streaming time? I think Intrepid are being really inconsiderate of you. Aw, Ashes of Nair. Well, to be fair, there's no good time to not accidentally step on somebody's toes or shoes, you know, for that matter. As we're working towards doing, we would like to have a running list of all the content creators that go live and have their live times on our calendar and constantly being promoted. And if anything, I have learned that at any given time, I can
It's very cool of you guys.
Huh?
That's very cool of you guys.
Oh, well, we feel like it's part of our focus. You know, we want to focus on you guys, and we would like to eventually be the people that you can come to and be like, I want to find somebody that does such and such kind of content. There you go. You want
somebody that does that.
lore? Boom. You want a straight up conversation? Go to Roar. He'll tell you straight up how he feels. You know, exactly. Like,
you're looking for information, you're looking for entertainment, you're looking for a gruff personality, you want somebody bubbly with bright pink in the background. We got it. We got you. We'll find someone for you to look at.
That's pretty cool.
All good, Fushi. All good. See you, Super. But
Later, Super.
I think no, because regardless of what goes on, I feel like
You want to? There you go, Cash. Exactly. You want salt? We got BCG for you.
Yes, we got BCG for the salt. But I think, you know, no matter what, there's always going to be something that comes up that causes somebody to not be able to do something. And there's only so much. There's only so much that we can do. Anybody can be a content creator. Not everyone can be a content creator connoisseur.
Precisely, dear Dante.
Bolshi says, to anyone here, if you need help in alpha, beta, or when the game comes out, let me know. I got nothing but time.
Oh, yeah.
Good to know. Okay.
That's it.
So, is there anything else that you would like to chat about in our wrap-up?
I would personally like to remind everybody that if you were trying to get the weird little squiddy mount thing, there's probably counting down to the last few days / hours or whatever for that
Yeah, we
cosmetic
haven't
set.
been told when the new stuff is coming out, but if you have been waiting, now
Didn't she say like the 8th or something?
I don't know.
Let's see. We'll be removed May 5th at 11 a.m. Pacific.
There you go.
So tomorrow.
May 5th?
You have... Yeah, whoa. Yeah, I think they forgot to update that.
June?
Don't forget that the add-ons... Okay, never mind. June 9th. I see. I was reading it out of order.
I thought it was the 8th. I guess.
Reading comprehension is
I
key.
was like,
The more
whoa,
you
they're
know.
going back in time to remove it.
Yeah, I read the end. I skipped everything except for the end. That's how you properly read a book, kids.
I'm just happy I got the Fox of the Pyre Mount, man.
Oh, I'm so mad I didn't get that one. Oh,
that
that's so
thing
pretty.
is.
That's okay.
You know which one I didn't? The one I didn't get, and I'm kind of bummed out, was during Thanksgiving. They had that like dragon made out of leaves. I didn't pick that up. I
the
really
fall,
wanted that.
the really pretty fall, like autumny color one. Oh,
Yeah,
that was
the
so
harvest
pretty.
dragon thing.
That thing was awesome.
Baoshi, to answer your question, I think there are plans possibly in the future, not currently. There's a lot that they
not
had
for
to
the
build.
foreseeable future.
Jellyfish mount today. Hope it looks cool. Yeah, honestly, a lot of the stuff, they've always surpassed my expectations with their featured art versus their reality. So yeah, that too. I don't see it until after release. Yeah, just because there's a lot of tools they had a custom build for themselves that UE4 didn't even have. But
Yep.
just to push it back out there, here are Roar's links. His Twitter is the first link. His YouTube is the second link. Please
thank you.
give him a follow. Check out his stuff. You said you're on the Burning Discussions, not Burning Crusade, different Burning. And you've been doing your own videos lately, like you did your experience in Alpha 1. So for those of you that are interested in seeing what Roar experienced for his Alpha 1, feel free to go check that out. And how often are you planning to put videos out?
I try to do one. So between my work schedule and stuff, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm lazy. I'm still a gamer. I love to game. So I try to put out a video every 1 to 2 weeks. Whether it's just a topic that I want to talk about that I know Ashes is putting in, or it's like news coverage kind of stuff. So once we're able to stream and I can really start talking about my experiences and showing my experiences, the content will definitely become more stable. But right now,
Bad
1 to 2 weeks.
No. Bad.
Yep, 1 to 2 weeks. So
Okay. So every 1 to 2 weeks, be sure to check it out. If not, keep an eye on the Ashes of Creation's official Discord, because that's where I found you, actually. We're always keeping our eye out there for sure, because we're trying to see
a lot of great content creators.
Yeah, some new content creators coming out, and of course they said there's like some 2,000 plus people that have applied for the content creator thing. So we expect to see your guys' stuff. So And OMG, so sick of hearing Roar say he's lazy and using that as an excuse to not allow the rest of us to use sexy voice.
Oh jeez. I am. Man. I start this if I wake up on my days off and I start playing WoW or Tarkov or something, like 10 hours go by and I'm like, damn. I totally wanted to stop this 5 hours ago and start making a video.
And Boshi, yes, Shadow and Bones, it was good. Enjoy.
Okay, as an outro, I would like to go ahead and say thank you guys for giving us your time and your energy and your support. I also wanted to say next week we're having Eloa Wendy on our show. We haven't had her on 2 years to the day, I think it was.
Wow.
Been a while.
Yeah, so she's coming back in because of Alpha 1. That's piqued up her interest again. So we're interested in getting her fresh and new insights on Ashes. But in the meantime, what we like to do is spread the love and raid. And today we are going to raid Hero Vision. So while Vertec talks and I get the raid ready, please join me in raiding.
Yes, please join us. And thank you, everybody, again, as always, for your time. You could be doing anything with it. You could be saving the world from anything. And instead, you're here watching us. So that's dandy. And we like it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Roar, for coming on the show.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, absolutely.
And when we go to raid these guys, just so you know, Zillan and Mazriel's names are swapped. I'm pretty sure they had to have noticed by now, but yeah. Whoops. Don't worry, I'll let them know when we jump in there.
Back to watching how to make conduits work in Minecraft. Okay. All right, and thank you guys so much. We're just going to go ahead and swap to our ending, but we hope to see you guys back here next week, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, and join us in raiding. Bye.
Love y'all. Bye.
Take care, everybody.